what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fins Fake Podcast. This morning, we're talking Dolphins Bills. We're going to preview the game. And listen, I know Dolphins made no more moves at the trade deadline, none. Today, we're going to dive into the post-trade deadline decisions, what it means for the future of this team. Meanwhile, you look at the Bills, who sit at one of the top teams in the league. We'll break down that matchup and what Miami can do to actually pull off the upset. I know some fans don't even want that, but we gotta be loyal to our core here. Break down the game like we do every Saturday on Countdown to Game Day here. We're breaking it all down, roster by roster, move by move. And we're gonna ask the big question, Curtis: where do the Dolphins go from here? So grab your coffee, pull up. Make sure you guys hit those likes and subscribe. Help support the channel. We appreciate it. Curtis, good morning. We haven't talked post-trade deadline.
No. I went into hiding.
We did and shout out to everybody who was with us on the free agent frenzy that we had almost 4 hours live. We were with you guys. I hope you guys caught that. We appreciate all the support, and it was fun, but it wasn't eventful for the Dolphins. And I got some obviously thoughts on it. I had a few days to digest it. We're gonna get Curtis's thoughts here. Who Curtis is we haven't heard his opinion yet. But I left wondering, I was reading some teams were kind of confused at what the Dolphins' plan was at the deadline. So was I. I'm left wondering, what is their plan going forward? That has me a little concerned. Curtis, your thoughts on the trade deadline inactivity and what's going to happen out there?
Look, I don't think the activity or inactivity was going to make or break this team. But the indications from the tea leaves about the direction and philosophy is the very concerning part. I've said for many years that there is just something not right at the top 2021. I kind of dialed it in more and more that Ross, he's got a corporate separation of powers structure. He likes control. He likes to offload control to some of his buddies. And he just doesn't get the right kind. He doesn't know the right kind of people to get in here. And then you have this corporate structure with backstabbing and assassinations and conflicting of ideas and changing of ideas. And I was hoping with the firing of Greer that maybe Ross figured it out. But when you look at the moves, you see Rossini was talking about how Ross likes McDaniel a lot and he wants to keep him maybe long term. And then you see how he's kind of setting this thing up where, hey, we don't want to move off too many guys. We had to move off Phillips because he's clearly a guy we can get something good for, and we're going to lose him. It all points towards he wants to keep McDaniel. Even Chubb, his agents and him said they committed to us this season, but not next season. So why would you do that? Why would you want to enhance your talent this year only to get off the guy next year? Even if you got a 5th round pick, it's better because you don't want to win this. You're trying to get a good pick. You're trying to reset this whole roster, but we're not. I don't think we're in a rebuild. I think we're in a retool. I think Ross is 86. He doesn't want to relinquish power. He wants to give some to his son-in-law. He wants to have that comfortability. F1 makes him all the money. He feels comfortable around McDaniel. There's some talk that if Tua wasn't strapping him and Greer wasn't strapping him, he'd be a good guy. So they'll keep him next year, so we don't have to pay him 24 or 20 million or.
We have Curtis breaking up as usual. Tom Garfield shut him down again. Curtis, we'll put you backstage here or try to log in, log out. You're frozen there. But I'll go ahead and pick up on Curtis's point here. Here was my thoughts going into the trade deadline. I thought they finally picked the direction. I thought, wow, they're gonna move off all the guys they can. Chubb, Fitzpatrick, you're back, Curtis. Chubb, Fitzpatrick, all these guys they were going to move off of, get what they can for them and kind of sell. And I thought, okay, good. They're telling Ross was telling the media one thing about his thoughts on McDaniel. He wanted to work out, but on the other hand, behind the scenes, they were giving the green light to make all these moves. When these moves didn't happen, I thought, oh boy, we might be in trouble here now, because that tells me that. Look, there's an opportunity here, Curtis. We talked backstage. This team got some easy games coming up. They can win their way out of the top 5, right? And then where are you at? You're picking 11th, and you still don't have a coach. You still don't have a general manager of the future, and you still don't have a quarterback in the future. You're muted. You're muted.
Maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan is they're trying to create enough optics to preserve McDaniel. They fired Greer. They can get a decent pick, and they can use that to keep doing. I mean, does Ross really at 86 years old want to relinquish power? Is there anybody going to come here that of high worth and salt that's going to accept this gig knowing what it entails? So maybe they're just trying to, considering you look at the schedule, to make it palatable enough to bring McDaniel back and keep Champ Kelly. I don't know, but it doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes sense. It's like you're not tearing down. You don't. McDaniel might not be the guy, but you keep enough talent so you can have success. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're not tearing down, but you're also not doing anything to help your team in the near future. You're not doing either one.
Makes no sense.
So where are you going? The problem is there is no plan as usual. That's pretty obvious. And here's the problem. DSG mentioned they tried. Unfortunately, it was $1 a day at the auction. Miami couldn't stomach the value of the junk. Here's the bottom line. I hear fans complaining. We did that 4-hour free agent frenzy about the Jets moves. You know what? It's a reflection of the rebuild, and I'll tell you why. Jets had a bunch of picks in 21, 22. We had a bunch of picks in 20 and 21. Okay? Now it's time if you want to cash them in, if it hasn't worked out, like it hasn't worked out for both teams. Here's the problem. All those guys that we drafted in 20 and 21 who are on this roster, unfortunately, are not on this roster, should be in the prime of their careers and should be at maximum trade value. What does that tell you about the Dolphins? They couldn't get much. We thought the league didn't see Jalen Waddle as a first-round pick plus player. That tells you all you need to know about the talent on this roster is that in the prime of their careers, the Jets were able to trade some of their picks that they had in them when they had, I think, 3 firsts and 2 firsts in consecutive years. That was in 20 and 21. They were able to get 3 first-round picks in the second. We were unable to accumulate anything out of all those draft picks. And Curtis, these guys will be in the prime of their careers now. And you should have the max value for these guys. And you couldn't get nothing. You got Jalen Phillips to a 3rd-round pick. That should tell you everything, whether the guys are on this roster or not. That should tell you everything you need to know about how this rebuild went.
Yeah, and even like Waddle, you had 2 first-round picks on him. So it's like even if you were going to trade him, maybe if you got a first-round pick or whatever, you're still undervalued. Everything we did set us up to fail. If they traded Chubb for a 7th, but they probably could have got a 5th. They probably could have got a 5th if they aged some of the money. They're going to eat the money next year. They said that they're not committed to him next year. And if you get rid of him pre-June, it's still like 20-something million on the books.
I wouldn't have revolted. What do you want? What do you want Chubb playing for this year for this? What is he doing for the long-term value of this franchise? Nothing. If you got a 6th-round pick for Bradley Chubb, it's honestly more the money, and he's not here. And no team is going to go up. It's very hard to pick in the top 3. It's very hard to tank. These guys, they play for the resume. They play for the career. It's very hard to do that. But if you don't have as many good players on your roster, you're probably not going to win. And the Dolphins decided to keep most of them. It's not just about what they got in return for Fitzpatrick or for Chubb. It's just about moving on, and look, we know better than anybody in 2020. We were a Josh Rosen insertion away from having Joe Burrow as our starting quarterback. Whether you like Burrow or not, that was the right decision. He was the best quarterback in the draft, and they clearly wanted him. They didn't do it. I was hoping Mr. Ross learned from his mistakes that time and applied it. It doesn't look like it. And I understand what Sammy's saying, but what are you getting out of Bradley Chubb on this roster? Maybe picking 11th overall versus 7th overall or 4th overall. And Ross is the biggest problem, and I'll tell you why. His job as the owner of this team is he has a few responsibilities. Most important is making the right hires, right? That's the thing he's gotten wrong since he's been here. That's the biggest decision he's responsible for me. All right, the general manager, the president, whatever you want to call it, the czar. And he has no one around him he can trust to help him with that decision. There's moments of hope here, right? We get the pockets, how we felt after we beat the Ravens, or we were that Broncos game, or we were 9-3. But nothing is sustainable because the foundation is poorly built. You get the pockets of hope, but then when the ultimate strong gust of wind comes by, it collapses because it wasn't built right ultimately. It's all style over substance. He's got to get that decision right, and I just don't know if I just don't know if he's learned, because it doesn't look like it. Because if McDaniel comes back here, or even if you start interviewing general managers or personnel guys, and you're indicating that McDaniel has the possibility of staying, the best guys aren't coming here. Okay, we don't have a talented roster. We don't have 2 or 3 first-round picks like the Jets. It's not as attractive as we want to make it out to be. We are the Cleveland Browns. We're the Jets. We're all those teams that you laugh at. We are the laughing stock of the league right now. That's who we are. That's a dose of reality. Correct, Curtis? Curtis, you with me? Curtis Curtis froze. I was on a rant. I was going to do. But anyways, yeah, so that's the concern. He hasn't got those hires right. And those are the most important things he's responsible. Look at the players. Let's go through the 21 and let's go through the 20 and 21 draft. Because those are the players you would have traded now, like I said. Tua, untradeable with the contract. Austin Jackson, always hurt. Will even be on this roster next year. Noah Igbenogany is working for UPS. I don't know where he's at. Couldn't play. Robert Hunt, good player. You let him go. The one good one, you decided to let him go. Raekwon Davis, I don't even know if he's in the league right now. He's a free agent. Brandon Jones, okay player for the Broncos, a safety, not here. So on and so forth. 21, Waddle. Really good player, number 2 receiver. You couldn't get a first-round pick from him at the trade deadline, so what does that tell you? Good player. Jalen Phillips, no longer on this team. Javon Holland, no longer on this team. Liam Eichenberg. You get my point here? That's why this deadline really showed you how they failed at this trade deadline. Because the Jets were able to capitalize on there because they had that bevy just a year later, 21-22, bevy of picks. 2 of them they got rid of, and they got 3 firsts and 3 firsts and a second, and a good young wide receiver. And that's the team we're going to be competing with for a quarterback, whether it's in this year's draft and next year's draft. And I know let's hold off on the quarterback to 27. If the Dolphins are picking in the top 5 this year, be careful of not taking one, because you're not guaranteed to be there again, even though if you're bad. It's very hard to predict and land in the top 5. If you're in there, you better make sure damn well you're sure there's no quarterback worth taking. As Curtis is joining us. Curtis,
Listen. I want to say something before my interruption. Yeah. Look, if you get rid of Chubb pre-June next year, it's 20. June is $13 million. At $11 million difference. $13 million difference. So compromise your free agency next year, or you're going to ride with him after June 1st. And so it doesn't make sense. If you're not committed to him next year, you're talking about $20 million.
Oh, we lost Curtis again. You're there.
Anyway.
You're back.
No,
I don't know what it is with your internet, Curtis.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Basically, you're gonna have to pay Chubb $11 million no matter what. So you got $13 million that you can move either way. So why, if you don't get rid of him pre-June, then you're hurting your free agency next year and compromising your chances to win. So it just does not make sense not getting rid of the guy, even if you have to eat $5 or $6 million, because you're going to still have to pay the guy $11 million and compromise next season. So it doesn't. You could have got a 5th round pick from. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Even if you gave a 7th and got a 5th, it was a pick swap, whatever. That's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense to keep him.
No.
The worst thing that can happen to this franchise is they win 6-7 games. They go on a win streak. Pick 12. In a draft that's not great. It's not a great draft. Like the linebacker at Ohio State, Pete Woods, the tackle Fanu, the quarterbacks, whatever order you want, Mendoza, Simpson, whatever, the Caleb Downs, the safety. And I said this, Curtis, people are talking about let's punt on the quarterback. If we do land in the top 5, you gotta be pretty sure that there's not one you like, because you're not guaranteed to be back in that spot again, right? So
look, if somehow the Dolphins get like a top 5 pick, you just be just trade out. Like if it was me, if it was GM Coach Curtis, I'd say, dude, we're tanking this year. I'm getting rid of all my assets to get the best draft pick. I know I'm going to suck next year. It's a 2-year restart. I'm going to get a top 5 pick unless there's one of the quarterbacks I really, 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 really like. I'm going to be there, trade out for more ammo in the future. I'll have my terrible season next year, and I'll have a bunch of ammo that I can, utilize. But this is half measures. We're going to it just makes no sense. It makes no sense because we're probably going to win. We'll beat the Saints. We'll probably beat the Jets. So that's 4 wins. And I forgot who else. Maybe even.
And what's the worst part? They're Reds in front of us in the draft.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're giving them another loss.
Yep. Yep. So I don't know, whatever. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's frustrating. I guess we got to wait to see the offseason. Maybe Ross shocks us and he hires a really smart GM hire and relinquishes control.
Yeah, that's the only
and he gets rid of McDaniel. Let's see. But it's the tea leaves don't say that. They don't say that at all.
Like I said, I thought that he was saying one thing, and behind the scenes, the tea leaves were telling me another. But when they didn't move any player, and I guess like somebody said in the chat that they didn't want to sell for 25 cents on the dollar. Like I would have took 50 cents on the dollar for a lot of these guys. Besides Waddle, like Waddle wasn't going to get the value that I always said. First round pick, you deal him. You could find wide receivers, but its bottom line is the league didn't see him like that. Again, we could talk about it, but the league will tell you what they think of players based on if some team. You don't think a team could have used a game-changing wide receiver like Waddle, and they weren't willing to put. The Steelers weren't willing to first round pick. The Broncos, and these are picks in the 20s, weren't willing to do it. So, and I agree, I wouldn't have gone off Waddle without that price, but it tells me a lot. I think, like the point I made about these guys are in the prime of their careers now, and we couldn't get anything for any of these guys because they're not on this team anymore. The ones that are good, Hunt, you know what I mean? Particularly teams that didn't like our stuff.
Well, I just want to answer Jonathan over there. Look, you're right, Jonathan, if it's the right quarterback and your team is built right. But this team, so let's say you draft a quarterback next year and he's not the right quarterback. We went through that with Tua. And your team is going to be able to really support him for a good victory season until 27, maybe 28. And so you've already eaten through 2 or 3 years of his rookie contract. And for me, GM Curtis, I would make sure 2026 is a season for us to get that back. I would be trading off assets that do not serve us for at least 27 and beyond. Next year, I would trade a ton of stuff. I might even get rid of Tua and just get all that cap out of the way and just gut this thing. Because if we gut this thing, we'll be back in the top 5 next year. Yeah. And I don't know how
really
great
good quarterback class.
Yeah, and so if the worst thing you can do is just grab a quarterback that doesn't serve you, and then the second worst thing is to grab a quarterback and not have a team to maximize his rookie contract. And that's what we could be doing because this team is a long way away.
We also seen if you put a quarterback in a situation, unless he's like elite. Look at Sam Darnold.
Archie, take Archie 27.
I think he's overrated.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really studied.
But my point, I forgot what my point was.
I'm sorry, I put
they got me now. Anyways, going back to Tua. Oh yeah, to the draft class in 27. Not only that is you load up on. You can still they can still do this in the offseason. Maybe Ross is doing the path that we want him to do. That's just what did I say about your quarterback one, John? Jonathan's a Texas Longhorn fan. What does this say? They could still do this in the offseason now, right? They can still get him, Daniel.
It's just not the most conducive setup.
I've been on record saying that Champ Kelly won't be back here. I'm going to lower that to I think if he is back, he's not going to be the GM. That's my point. I think he'll be, if he's back, they'll put him in a smaller role in the personnel department. Maybe that was his kind of agreement. I don't know.
But again, it doesn't make sense. Think about it, George. Think about it. So you got him, you groomed him. You probably had a really good idea that Greer wasn't going to be successful and you're going to fire him. So if you get a new GM this offseason, you've basically had him here for 2.5 months.
Well, I mean, it didn't work out.
What, Marvin Allen couldn't have done what he's done so far?
Well, obviously, yeah, that's what concerns me. Marvin Allen's fate was determined by who got promoted into him, right? They don't think him as part of the future of this. They might think of Champ Kelly, but in the personnel department, not GM. Is my point.
Maybe
I hope that at least that's what I hope, right?
I got my rabbit is a saying now. Who are you gonna get? Who's gonna come in here with this? Who's gonna come in
dysfunction?
Unless he's getting rid of McDaniel or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I thought he picked it. I thought that's what we were relating to, and maybe I'm overreacting.
Maybe
on post trade deadline. Who knows? But
who knows? Anyway,
who knows? But again, let's see. They'll give it time. Let's see what they do. But it's got me concerned, the lack of activity, because teams. The thing I said at the top of the show, teams were confused on what they were doing. Teams were confused, according to Jeremy Fowler.
Yeah, I know. Well, of course, if you and I were confused, who else would be?
We're confused. Teams are confused. Shit, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's hard to predict. It's hard to predict what's gonna happen. We got rid of Greer, but man, if they don't fully kind of clean the house, then Curtis, we're gonna be sitting here with the same stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it will be better. Look, guys, it will definitely be better without Greer.
Oh, yeah.
Just seeing him slither on camera in conferences, that alone would be like a bonus for my morale. And then, Champ Kelly has played. He's a tough guy. He's not like Greer. So there is a level of enhancement. But ultimately, it's going to be restricted by this terrible framework of separations of powers.
And he is a viable GM candidate. He's been on list of I wouldn't say he's top, but like
he's middle of the road.
Here's the thing about Champ Kelly. This is what concerns me. If you believe, and if Ross believes, this team wins out, just does enough, win 6-7 games, right? Okay, McDaniel, they didn't lose the team. McDaniel still got control of the team. He's done enough. Let's bring him back next year. If you do that, remember when we got Dennis Hickey? It's because nobody else would come here. Champ Kelly is a better version of Dennis Hickey.
Yep, that's my belief.
Yeah, so like Champ
and
Kelly,
maybe Ross is saying
it's probably the best candidate you're going to get.
Yeah,
with bringing McDaniel back. To be fair, but again,
and maybe Ross is saying, dude, I don't want to pay out whatever, how many $20 million or something to McDaniel. I don't want to get a new coach in here who's going to want to get rid of Tua. Maybe I'll just ride this to 27. I don't know. I have no freaking.
We got a question from Carl. Do you think the Dolphins move on from Tua next year by drafting a quarterback? Do you have any prospects you like? What about Lenore Sellers? Who would be the best fit? All right, I'll answer that. I've been on record saying he's got the big dead cap money hit. I'm willing to rip it off and take it. If you're not planning to be good next year it's going to be a lot of dead money overall on this roster. But if your plan is to pick high again next year, why not? This is the time to do it. This is the time to go younger, cheaper. Take it. And plus, if I bring in a quarterback in, Curtis, I don't want two in the room. It just doesn't, to me, he's not that type of personality to kind of mesh with that. I'm willing to take that kind of hit already. I know some people are against it. Some people in the community and chat who come on the show are against it, but I'm for it. If you could trade him, even better, if you could trade him by eating a lot of that money and trading him, I do that. And as far as, I'll let you answer next, Curtis, as far as drafting a quarterback, yeah, next year's the question is 26 or 27, right? And I'll make my final opinions on these guys as I get more time into it and closer to the draft, kind of towards the Senior Bowl. I'll start even getting more involved. But on the surface, I like Sellers. I don't think he's going to come out. I think he could play for Miami, but not the Dolphins, the Hurricanes. They're ready to open the bank for big-time quarterbacks, and his name's been out there. I love Sellers because I love the physical tools he has. He reminds me of a UCF young Dante Culpepper in Minnesota. And the next quarterback for this organization, I want to have size, speed, strength, physicality. I want traits at that position. I want something different. As far as Mendoza, he could sling it, man. He can throw it. He throws with accuracy, anticipation. Not the most mobile guy. I have some questions on him. He's somebody I need to go back, really, really look to give you my final opinion on. Really study the tape on Mendoza. Because on the surface, he looks like a stud. But I do have some questions. I like Ty Simpson, the kid out of Alabama. Your thoughts on that question? And best fit? Any of those guys. I bet probably Mendoza would be the best fit if Mike McDaniel's the coach. Go ahead, Curtis.
Well, look, if you're keeping Mike McDaniel and you're getting rid of Tua, the cap hit's going to make your team total crap because you got like 36 people on the roster. So it's another flop season. So that means McDaniel's guaranteed to be here another couple of seasons after that, because who can fire him after totally ripping the guts out of this team, giving him no team? So that means we're going to be indentured to Mike McDaniel for years. So, I don't know what the plan is. Like, the plan should have been just tear this MF down this season and then just rebuild this thing next year. But it looks like that we're just going to take this slow, try to retool, because how do you bring McDaniel back and then get rid of Tua? And because then you're like, well, we got rid of Tua and we're rebuilding.
Do you think they're locked in?
We'll keep him 27, 28, and 30. We'll keep him like Greer for 10 years.
Let me ask you this. Do you think what's more likely? Because I go back and forth on this. McDaniel back and they get rid of Tua, so it's like, all right, we're getting McDaniel. We're giving the excuse we're going to give McDaniel with the new quarterback? Or do you think if McDaniel's back, it's definitely Tua back?
Well, I think if they bring McDaniel back, they want him long term, and so they might draft the quarterback, but they'll let Tua lead it so they don't look totally disrespectful. Because you got to keep. But you remember, it's not about what I want. It's what's Ross's plan. His plan is he doesn't want to get rid of Mike McDaniel, makes him feel all cuddly inside to have a small little guy that talks like him and acts like him. And he probably can't get anybody else. Remember, he was saying they wanted a disciplinarian, a hard-nosed guy. Meanwhile, Benito Jones just came out and said the players decided to get rid of the pool table and whatever else. They can focus.
It doesn't stop.
No, so he wants McDaniel long-term. So the only way he could do that is massage his image. That's why you wouldn't get rid of Chubb and some of these other pieces, because you want to give him a reasonable chance to look semi-respectable. And then next year, you don't want to, because if you pull Tua out, then you're going to have to start a rookie quarterback with no team. McDaniel will look terrible, and then you'll be forced to fire him. But if you keep Tua there, then he could play for a while, keep you semi-respectable. Then in the year, you can say, well, he really does suck. Now we're getting rid of him, but we got the backup quarterback over here we drafted. So McDaniel's going to take over for him now, and you can keep the hustle going into 27. So if they plan on keeping McDaniel, it's not a short-term hustle. It's a long-term hustle. So how do you keep the long-term? There's no way you could sell. I just think it's hard.
Rookie quarterback McDaniel Tua, man, you're already starting off bad. This is already going to end in a disaster. Ross doesn't have. Again, I said at the top, he needs somebody, man, he can trust, man. He doesn't have anybody around him to help because he's clearly not capable of making the right decision. And I almost feel bad for him in that sense. Like he just doesn't have anybody to help him make the right decision. That's it. Again,
but it's also him too, though. He is very prideful. How do you run this separations of powers thing with all the screw ups, all these years, and then you can't stay? Remember, he says, I'm out of football operations in 2019, doing the same thing over and over again is insanity. And then he tried to get Ed Beal working in the background so he never stays out. He can't keep his hands off. Yeah. So it is his fault. It's not totally.
It's definitely his fault because he hasn't done the one thing he needs to do. His job is to make the right hires under him. The 2 or 3 hires, and he's failed. And it doesn't go any further than that, right? And why the Florida Panthers have success because their owners made the right hires, and I say it all the time with their general manager. He made the right hire with the coach. It's a domino right decision. That's Stephen Ross's biggest issue. Until that gets fixed, we're gonna have this merry-go-round, same talk, same thing, hopium, full of air, full of style, not substance. And like I said, you'll get pockets of opium. But if the construction on his base is not rightly built, it won't last. You're getting hopium because the wind is not very high.
Yeah.
Then when the 30-mile-an-hour, 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts come, it shatters your foundation because it wasn't built right.
That's it.
All right. Should we get into this game? We got to get
Sure, why not? Why not?
Everybody in the chat, it's been a lively chat for Saturday morning, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, drop the like, subscribe, help support the channel. We do take super chats, by the way. I've been told I got to say it. It's not to put money in our pockets to help produce the show and kind of put the show together. But anyways, yes, DR Stephen Ross is to blame for this mess. All right. Let's start with the injury report here for the game. For the Dolphins, big news, Chopper Robinson out. Looks like he's not going to play with the concussion. Rasul Douglas, doubtful. Ethan Bonner is going to have to step up. It's D. Eskridge is out. Questionable. Bonner. Austin Davis, Ollie Gordon, and Julian Hill, questionable, as well as Malafanu. Anything on the Dolphins injury report? Chop, I guess, is the biggest concern, right? Or Rasul Douglas, man, he's been real good. He's another guy I thought they'd trade.
Yeah, I really didn't see him as good as you saw him. And then, when you mentioned it last week.
You went back and looked?
Yeah, I really started taking into account. Yeah, he definitely is. So him and Chop out without Phillips. Phillips had 5 pressures this season against the Bills. And he's been notoriously good against.
Stopping the run against Phillips.
And now you got Judon, Chubb, and maybe Gay. So, and then you take it's got to be very, very difficult. But, again, the good news is that McDaniel's offense is pretty much intact. So he should be able to do something, he should be able to.
It's basically the team minus Jalen Phillips. It's, I know we had this perception that we're going to be gutted like the Jets did, but no, it's basically the same team, which is a good and a bad thing, right? But it's the same team, just minus Jalen Phillips. Anything else on the injury report? Well, no, one thing, Chop is having a terrible season. Terrible. Oh my, I don't know what it is. I gotta go back and check. This has been Chop's career. First 8 games, next 8 games, then the next 8 games. Yeah. I don't know. It's that's a mystery to me. I was certain this guy was going to have a breakout season.
I just think that he is like a Melvin Ingram. I think he's just a pass rusher. It's going to take him a few years.
A liability.
I
thought he'd get better in the run game, and he did.
No, not at all. There's a lot of talk about that, though. He was going to be awesome.
Play strength, no bueno, man. The play strength is not good. No. We'll get to the predictions. We already got some. We'll get to our both and our over-under game. Curtis's favorite game. All right, so for the Bills.
I'm like the Dolphins in the over and under game. Sad underachiever.
For the Bills, AJ Espinoza out with a concussion. Shaq Thomas with a hamstring.
Benford too, right?
Benford's questionable. Teron Johnson's questionable. Daquan Jones is questionable. Josh Palmer questionable. So their corners are questionable. Your thoughts on what's the one that you think they'll miss the most, Buffalo, if they're out?
Well, I would say Benford, but they got Hairsmith, who played phenomenal against Worthy. He'll be a good matchup for Waddle. Daquan, I think, is the biggest. I think they can get by without Benford. And if it was me, I probably wouldn't play him if he had a groin injury. You don't want that thing tearing. So I think that if Hair-Smith, I mean, you might want to bring him into the game. And,
the rookie. You talking about the rookie corner?
yeah, Hair-Smith. Isn't that his name? Hair-Smith, something. Anyway, small little.
Oh, what's his name? Maxwell Hairston.
Oh, Hairston. Yeah, I know. I'm calling him Hair-Smith.
Hair-Smith. I was thinking in my head, who?
Hair-Smith. Maybe I'm thinking about me. I need a Hair-Smith, a Smith to go put some hair in my head.
I like him coming on. He's a burner. He can run. He can run with the word he's in the water to the road.
Yeah, he'll work good against Waddle.
So that alleviates a little bit of their kind of injuries of the cornerback position. And Josh Palmer, I mean, look, we'll get into the game plan now offensively for the Dolphins. And if you want to attack this Buffalo team, you got to run the football, right? That's the key here on both sides. For you want to beat Buffalo, we'll get into the percentage of the statistics is them running the ball and stopping their running game. We say it every week, but particularly with this team, we'll give you numbers to back it up. It really means something, particularly with this team, because you look at their run defense. Buffalo's run defense, 31st in the league in yards per rush, 5.4 they give up. Rushing yards a game, they're 28. They give up 141. And they give up 1.5 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns a game, which is 31st. This, to me, Curtis, if I'm the game plan, this has to be a huge Devon A-Chain game.
Oh yeah. Well, I think more than but I would definitely mix in Ollie because they have some softness without Oliver.
Well, Ollie's got the ankle thing, you know.
Oh, he's not playing?
No, he's playing. He's questionable. He's most likely going to play, but he's got an ankle. But yeah, Ollie and A-Chain. But this has got to be a running the football game.
Yeah. Yeah. Inside and out because they got Bosa and Rousseau, and they're probably gonna play wide technique out on those tackles, at least, shoulder to shoulder, if not farther out, to drive it back inside. And so if I'm them, they got the kid they drafted who's like 6'7", 340, and they got Daquan. Going against Strange and Savania and Brewer. So I'm just playing because they're going to not blitz a lot. So they're going to do what, play to over coverage. Right. They're going to take away the middle, probably put their D edge out wide, force it back inside. And I do like A-Chain inside. I think he's proven he can run inside, but I just think because, you got some struggles there with the interior, some guys missing. Ollie just slamming in there. It's so much value to that, So,
but leans forward, it's 3 yards.
Oh yeah,
just leaning forward. And you mentioned the pressure in that wide tech they play. They're 12th in blitz rate last week, so they're in the middle of the pack in blitz, but pressure rate.
They raised it.
Yeah.
Is that on for the whole season or just last week?
That's last week.
Okay.
Pressure rate, 38.6 tops in the league. So they don't blitz. They're kind of middle of the pack blitz, but they're getting pressure. So that's going to be, again, you're going to have to handle. They got Rousseau, they got Walker, the rookie, the Daquan Jones, Bosa, Espinosa, all these guys. So, but to me, this is going to come down to a game where you're going to have to run the ball successfully, control the clock, balance off the field, right? Is that how you, and convert, look, and hit the big plays when they're there on play action, right? And
that's the key. They got their linebackers are on so good.
Yeah, whether it's we got to mention Connor Tanner Connor gone.
yeah. Two guys for one cut lost, man. Do we get 2 roster spots for that?
Yeah.
What a waste. What a
Greg
joke.
Dulwich, we got Julian Hill, Greg Dulwich out there, Aiden Rucci to take away those linebackers. But yeah, middle of the field play action to hit Waddle. There's always going to be a big play or two for Waddle there if you're running the ball attempt-wise. Even if you're not successful, attempts, we always mention, is the key. Anything else you do offensively here, you can expose that Buffalo defense. You agree, though, to expose them, it's the run game, right?
And it's because it's got to be time of possession. Because, they're going to be running the football, and they're going to be controlling time of possession. And if you're doing it too, it's moving the game along faster, which kind of works because you don't want to give Josh Allen too many times to score that football, too many drives. And so you've got to be consistent. And they're likely going to come out and be ahead a little bit, but McDaniel's just got to stay patient. Because this defense, if you watch, they make run stops, but then there's like a little cracks in the door here and there when they run it enough times. And then when they get tired, it really busts open. So you got to keep this defense fresh somehow. You've got to
consistently. They're not bad. It's just those pockets of those 30-yard runs, 40-yard runs, and they'd be getting better. And boy, we go over to the defense game plan. James Cook, and the running game. Look, let's talk about Buffalo here. Buffalo's run game, right? Buffalo's run offense, rushing play percentage, 51% of the time, number one in the league. That means they run it consistently more than they pass it. 51% of their plays they call are rushes.
And what does that say to you about Josh Allen, the great quarterback?
Yeah, and he's included in the rush, right? Like
he's not actually picking up a lot of yards this year, but it shows where the NFL cycle is.
You know what I mean? It's yards per rush, fourth in the league at 5.0 yards. Rushes a game, number one, 32. They average 32 rushes a game. Rushing yards a game, number one, 161.5. And that's Allen, and that's Cook. Cook's having a monster year. This is when we talk about stop the run and run the football, we really mean it in this game, right? Like this really, because that's their offense. Because let me tell you something. I'm packing the middle of the field. I'm not letting the play action to the tight ends. It's the running game and the Kincaid stuff that concern me with Allen. I don't care about their weapons on the outside. They don't separate. Except for
Shakir. Shakir is dangerous.
But I can live with. If that's the worst thing I'm dealing with, I can sleep at night. Keon Coleman, Shakir, production and separation, not happening. Their weapons on the outside. Take everything away. You force them to beat you, right? That's why the Rasul Douglas injury could be a factor. But look, they're last in pass play percentages in 49%. So the game plan here is control Josh Allen. When it's 3rd and 6, keep him in 3rd and long. When it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, so with Phillips being out, when being traded, you got to find someone to kind of spy him and stop that. That's how we keep the chains moving. And then James Cook in the running game and the tight ends. To me, that's the 3 X factors to stop that offense. Your thoughts on the defensive game plan for the Dolphins against this Bills?
Well, the Dolphins Weaver's in a quandary because you don't have Phillips, you don't have Chop. So you've been struggling to get it to pressure with 4. So now you're going to have to bring the blitzes, and that's where the play action, and he had a lot of good play action plays last week. They picked it up. I think he was blitzed. What was it? I can't remember the amount, but it was substantially more than their pressure rate. And then they ran play actions like 30% of the time. And so Weaver's just in a real conundrum because he doesn't have great secondary. He's down on his pass rushes. So how's he bringing that pressure? And if he's not blitzing, then he's going to have all day. So I don't know what he's going to do. It's going to be very, very difficult. You got to have to choose wisely. You're going to have to choose wisely.
What are your thoughts on blitzing more with the lack of deep outside weapons? Or does that concern you if you miss? To me, it's the tight ends.
Yeah.
That's what the teams have attacked the Dolphins in the middle of the field with tight ends all season long.
Yeah.
We saw it versus the Ravens. All 3 of their tight ends caught touchdown. Kincaid, I think, didn't Kincaid have a touchdown?
Yeah.
Last time we always look. Here's the truth. We always keep it close for a half with these guys, right? Like, don't be surprised this game's close for a half or 3 quarters, and then we do something to screw it up. You know what I mean? But that's the truth, Curtis. It's usually pretty close for a lot of the game, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends. We got a few blowouts. We've won a couple, but more often than not, we're actually putting points on them, so, and making it somewhat close. This week, though, I mean, if you look, though, interestingly enough, if you
where's that graph you have?
Put the graphic up. Basically, we suck at home, and they're great on the road. So if you look, I got the offense, the stats, defensive stats, but you look at home and away. And so if you look at the defensive rush yards, it's average. It's the same on both sides. Terrible. But look at their pass yards per game. It goes from 188 to 134. Defensive points per game at the bottom, 24.8 to 14.3. But then you look at us, and our pass yards goes from 152 to 10th to 217. And our points kick up a little bit.
Yeah, we're a little bit better at home, but
we do a little better in the offense.
About the same home or away on offense.
Yeah, and we're a little bit better. I mean, we put a little more rush yards, about 10 more, 11 more. We put on about maybe 2 or 3 points more. But when you look at what they're doing on the road with the defense, and they run the ball more too. Look at our rush attempts, 31 to 34. And at TOP is 33 both ways. Ours is 27 at home. At 1 minute does make a sizable difference. So we're really kind of stacked here because they're going to be able to probably slow down our pass. And so it's going to demand us to run, and they're probably going to keep us out of scoring points. I mean, 10-point difference on the road. We don't know who they're playing. It's not contextual, but it's a huge amount. So that's the deal.
Like you said, we have to break down maybe their opponents. They're playing like the Saints and you know what I mean? Yeah, and Carolina or something like that. But actually, Carolina's pretty good this year. But yeah, that's a big difference. As far as the Dolphins, we're better on the road on defense. It looks like, right?
Crazy.
It doesn't
crazy.
And offensively, we're a little bit better at home, but nothing significant. So yeah, that's interesting. That's a great stat you said. I agree. Really puts things in perspective. Rounds up to 30. Those are strong stats. Shots lively today. All right. So let's get into some keys of the game. Give me your top 3 keys for the Dolphins in this game for them to pull an upset.
2 no turnovers. McDaniel having some intestinal fortitude, being able to game and to not get nervous, Nelly, and try to run outside with 12-man reverses and deep balls, and then just running inside. It's got to be inside. I mean, you'll get a nice run on the outside too, but it's got to be inside balance. A, B, C, and D gap. A lot of interior stuff to wear this team down and try to get – because, look, Bosa and Rousseau is pretty big. He can handle it, but Bosa's been pretty good in run defense, but you want to wear these guys out because Espinesa's probably going to be out. Daquan's a little dinged up. No Oliver. So you've got to wear this D-line out. So those are my 3 keys.
For me, look, this game, I said, this game could be close for 3 quarters. Don't make the big mistake in the last quarter and a half to cost this game. You've got to keep it close. Just keep it close. Maybe you can get the turnover, win the turnover margin, win the time of possession. That means successful running the football, keeping Josh Allen off the field, and the running game. And try figure out a way to contain the tight ends in this game because Allen's going to be looking to them because they don't have the weapons.
So basically, you're asking pigs to fly.
Yes, you're correct. All right, individual matchups. You mentioned some. I think the Dolphins linebackers or safety versus the tight end is number 1 for me. Do you have another one? You mentioned Strange and Jonah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Rousseau and Bosa and Daquan and Dion, those twists and stunts, they like to do those things. Strange and Savania, they get lost with them. Strange gets moved around, 340-pound guy. Jonah's going to be going against a guy bigger than him. It's really those guards because you don't want that quick pressure, man. And I think they can do a lot of stuff with those 4 guys. They're not going to be forced into the blitz. They got to pick this stuff up to get that blitz because that's what it's all about. You get the blitz and you take advantage of it. So that's a huge key for me. I mean, Ken Waddle show he's a really a top guy and go against Hairston or Hairsmith, whatever the hell the guy's name. Yeah. And show that he can do it. So that's, to me, this game's got to be about the offense. The offense has got to set the points. Yeah, they got
to score points in this game. I agree with you. They're going to have to score points because I think Buffalo's going to score.
Oh, yeah.
So I agree.
Oh, yeah.
To me, the corner, you talk about matchup. If it's Douglas is out, these corners got to kind of win the battle against these mediocre wide receivers who don't. You said Shakur, and I like Keon Coleman's ability, but they're not productive. You look at their top receiver; they don't pass the ball out there. You can't let these guys become, the second coming of Justin Jefferson in this game.
Yeah.
Can't happen. You got to. They're not. That's the weakness of their offense. Their skill position receivers. Your corners, especially for Sewell Douglas plays, got to win that matchup clearly. So I agree there, and I agree with the points you said. Give me. Oh, by the way, you got any literature for the end of the show? Do you have anything? Do you have a?
No, not this. No, I should have got something. I could probably read something from Edgar Allan Poe.
We'll get something at the end here.
Yeah, I'll give you something. I'll read you Edgar Allan Poe.
All right, give me a bold prediction for the game. A bold prediction. Do you want me to start, Curtis?
Yeah, I think you, because I got no.
I'll
have to pull something.
A-Chain over 100 yards rushing, and he has a 40-yard plus run in this game. What do you think of that?
How many yards?
A-Chain over 100 and a 40-yard plus run in this game.
It's possible. Yeah, it's very possible.
It's bold, but not as bold as I usually go, but it's bold. Give me something you think in this game.
Well, last week I gave a bold prediction that Wright was going to get 3 carries, and he didn't even. They benched him. So what the hell do I know? This team. Well, what did you got a guy who's 2 4th-round picks? Or was that the week before? That was last week, right? And then Ollie went down.
Yeah. It was inactive.
Oh my God! What is
Ollie
this
went down
team, dude? Oh my lord! Bold prediction: Tua won't throw a pick.
Okay, that is bold. That is.
All right.
Tua won't make a fool of himself after the game at the press conference. That's bold.
No, that's too bold. That's as bold as love for me, man. Too much.
All right. You ready to play the? We'll do the score prediction last. Well, let's play the over/under game, your favorite game. In chat, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and join in as we're here with Curtis and I on Countdown to Game Day here, preview of the Bills and the Dolphins. All right, bold pick, Jalen Wright gets a tutty. That's real bold. That's how about he plays? That's a bold. All right, over/under game. Tua, 215 yards. The under passing. The under has hit 6 out of 9 this season at that line. You going over or under, Curtis?
Well, I'm going to go with the 60% odds of being under, so I'll say under.
I'm going to go under as well. 1.5 passing touchdown. The over has hit 5 out of 9 this season at that line. I'm going over and under.
Yeah, I'll go over.
Yeah, over. I think he gets 2. I could see them getting 2. I'll go over slightly. Nothing more than 2. 32.5 pass attempts. The under has hit 6 out of the last 9 at this line.
What was that? Repeat.
32.5 pass attempts. Tua. Over.
Yeah, probably McDaniel will probably get nervous, Nelly.
You going over? Yeah, I'm going to go over a little bit. I think he has around 34, 35. Waddle, 64.5. The over has hit 5 out of the 9 times this season at that line. You going over or you going under on Waddle? 64.5 yards received.
Under.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over slightly, very slightly over. Waddle, 5.5 receptions. The under has hit 6 out of the 9 this season. I'm going to go under. I think it's about 4 or 5.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I'm looking for.
I'm here for the Edgar Allan Poe. Everybody's here for that. 5.5 receptions for Waddle. Over or under?
Under.
I agree. A-Chain, 65.5 yards. Over has hit 5 out of the 9 times this season. I'm going over. If you see them.
Yeah. They suck at the run. He's going to get a pop.
13.5 attempts. I'm also going over. The under has hit 5 out of the 9 this season, but I'm going over. Slightly over.
I think McDaniel is going to try to get himself a season. So, some kind of something to keep his job.
You're going over on the attempts?
Yeah.
4.5 receptions for A-Chain. The overs hit 5 out of 9. I'm going to go under 4.5 receptions in this game for A-Chain.
Under. Because I think they're going to feed him because he hasn't been getting a lot of catches. I don't know what happened to him.
30.5 receiving yards. I'm also going under. The unders hit 7 out of the 9 times this season. Yeah,
what happened to that?
They're not feeding him in the run game, I mean, in the pass game. That's interesting. I'm going to go under. The line tells me I'm going to go under. Now, here's another one. Combo. 101 rushing and receiving yards combined. The under has hit 6 out of the 9 this season. 101.5 combined rushing and receiving. I'm going over because I made a
I'm going to go over too. Because he just takes one run.
Yeah.
To really put that up there.
Ollie Gordon, if he plays over under 15.5 yards rushing. It's so simple and it seems like it's easy, but the under has hit 7 out of the 9 on that line. It's crazy. Every week I'm like, it's a gimme. Bet your house on it, and it doesn't happen.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to go over if he gets up at least 16 yards rushing. I mean, how about you? You going over under on Ollie Gordon?
Oh, I'm going to go under. McDaniel's going to puss out.
Yeah, that'd be the right way because the betting line has been under 7 out of the 9. That's another one. All right.
I don't know what the betting line is, but I know McDaniel is like the cowardly lion. He needs to go to the Wizard of Oz for some coverage.
It depends on the score. If they're down by a lot, forget the running game.
Closer down, Yeah.
Never
mind.
All right. Before we close it out with some Edgar Allan Poe, with everybody in the chat's been waiting for, I want some more likes in this video so Curtis can read the literature. Final score prediction. I'll go 28-17 Buffalo.
I'm going to go like 31-17.
31-17. Chad, you put your final score predictions. 31-17. All right. Curtis, the floor is yours. The literature section. Here we go. Everybody tune in.
I think everybody can identify this. I actually had this whole thing memorized, but I only got half about now, so I'm going to have to read it. But this is El Dorado by Poe, about a knight who starts out strong in belief, and over time he gets worn out by the quest that never seems to be resolved. I think that can apply to us. So El Dorado by the great Edgar Allan Poe, who I love. Gaily benight, a gallant knight in sunshine and shadow had journeyed long, singing a song in search of El Dorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his hard as shadow fell as he found no spot of ground that looked like El Dorado. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of El Dorado? Over the mountains of the moon, down the valley of the shadow, ride, boldly ride, the shade replied, if you seek a Super Bowl in Miami, in El Dorado.
Well said, right?
I think I might have added something at the end there.
Yeah. I'm sure they wrote it down. They would have been right though, predicting that. We can't. Why can't we go to El Dorado? Just one more Super Bowl. Oh, that's great stuff. Where else do you get breakdowns of games, analysts, and literature from Edgar Allan Poe or whoever Curtis will bring out? And that was impromptu. Curtis didn't have one planned this week.
Got it. I forgot. I totally forgot.
You better have one next week. That's your.
Yeah, I will. I'll make sure. I got a good one.
All right, guys, we've been almost an hour. I know Curtis got to run and do another show, but we thank you. Don't forget, tomorrow, right after the game, win, lose, or draw, no matter what, we will be live at post-game show. So this is your Miami Dolphins post-game show for live reaction right after the final whistle. You join us. You never know. Curtis might be popping in, but you never know.
I'm going to try.
We'll see if we get Frank the Tank again. He comes in every week. You'll never know who comes in and out of our show. We are the post-game show to watch right after the game. Make sure you tune in. Guys,
thank you, everybody.
Give the show a like. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the show. More importantly, hit the bell notification. So you don't have to worry when we go live. It'll alert you when we go live. You don't miss any of our good stuff and good content. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow right after the game. Hopefully, some people hopefully we get a Miami Dolphins victory, but more than likely not, probably not. But we'll be here no matter what, breaking it all down with you guys. So as everybody stays safe, fins up. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game. We'll see you right after the game.
Bye, everybody.